Hi everybody, Gabby here with your Battle of the Day. Today we are back to Worlds Team Hype as I am going ahead to just challenge the Battle Spot ladder. Um, you may have noticed my score has changed since last time. That may or may not be because I accidentally hit start streaming instead of start recording and then proceeded to make an utter fool of myself. But hey, we're not talking about that. Anyways, it looks like I'm getting paired up against someone that is 15-14 from Japan. And they are running a fairly standard Kangaskhan team in the sense that it has a Kangaskhan, a Heatran, a Thundurus, and a Cresselia. Suicune and Greninja are kind of weird picks in my opinion. Suicune's a fantastic Pokemon. It's so bulky. Excuse me. Greninja though, great for fastly killing things, which is what I'm gonna assume it's gonna do. So as a result, I think I'm going to actually lead Landorus and Milotic here. Or no, maybe not Milotic, maybe Entei. I definitely want to bring Milotic in the back because I think Toxic will really help whittle down Cresselia and Suicune to the point where I can manage them. And I think this is finally time for me to bring Metagross. So let's do that thing. I feel like the few battles I have shown with this team, I don't think I actually brought Metagross last game. I know I didn't on the game I accidentally streamed and then deleted. So it was bad. I kept on calling Abomasnow Amoonguss for some reason, and then I kept on like just tripping over myself in a verbal sense. It was great. So now I'm just gonna keep talking about random stuff like that to stall for time. Yeah, I'm out of ideas. I'm sorry. Alright, I guess I'll talk about if I were this person from Japan, I think what I would lead here is Bulk City. Actually, maybe Greninja Cresselia. I feel like the Landorus is a fairly obvious play actually for a lead, and that Suicune would be a great way to call that, especially in the sense that there's nothing really Entei can do to stop Suicune either. It would force me to switch, and they actually ran to time, so if they lead Cresselia Suicune, I swear that's just terrible. No, I mean, it's a fantastic lead, but it's just so bulky, I don't really want to deal with that. But anyways, let's find out. And they do lead Kangaskhan Suicune, actually, so not the Cresselia. It did not go to time. That's always something very important to note in your battles. So now, plus sides for me, I can intimidate things. I can potentially Sacred Fire Burn that Kangaskhan, which is exactly what I'm going to go for. Landorus does not want to stick around here. Oh, do I want to switch in my Milotic though? Actually, hold on. Let me check the moves on this. I could U-turn, but if I get faked out, then it'll be bad. And if he has Icy Wind instead of Ice Beam, the competitive boost would just be amazing. So I'm going to do that. And then I am going to go for the Sacred Fire Burn onto that Kangaskhan. Sacred Fire is arguably my favorite way to burn things right now. I would say it's just as reliable as Will-O-Wisp. But if you're a person who likes math, you're going to disagree. On paper, yeah, it probably doesn't get the burn more often than Will-O-Wisp, but it's nice to do damage when it does. Kangaskhan will go for the fake out, will go onto Milotic, so that's a plus side for me. Not really going to take much damage from that, thanks to the Intimidate. And Entei is faster than his Suicune. Maybe this will mean I can get a sub up actually next turn. And Suicune goes for Tailwind, so forget what I just said about speed tiers. Fortunately for me though, Kangaskhan was burned, and after a burn, after Intimidate, I don't have to worry about too much. Arguably my biggest threat right now is taking a Scald in the face in terms of Entei from that Suicune, so I'm going to play it fairly safe this turn. I'm going to go for Toxic, go for Protect, which seems to be like a good play. It looks like he's switching out his Kangaskhan for his Cresselia. So we have entered Bulk City, folks. Population, Suicune and Cresselia. Suicune does go for that Scald. I do get the Toxic off on it though, so I can begin to slowly stall it down in terms of health. as much as I want to switch out Entei here and switch in Metagross, the few times I have done that, I've gotten burned badly. So I'm actually gonna just Stone Edge. It's kind of a filler move. I don't really like it, but I would much rather do chip damage and not get burned on Metagross. Oh! And dodge his Toxic than I would anything else. And Stone Edge has the benefit of having a high crit rate, so that's why that was able to do so much to Suicune. Normally it would probably do maybe like a third of that, if that. And Suicune's item is revealed. Looks like it's running leftovers. So Toxic should help with that a lot. Now here's where I am going to get a little bit tricky. I'm actually going to switch out my Milotic for my Metagross, assuming that he's going to go for Toxic again. I doubt that he's going to attack Entei with, no, he's going to attack Entei with Suicune. He's not going to attack Milotic with Scald, I don't think. As for Entei, I'm just going to protect. Again, we're trying to slowly whittle down turns here. A for Toxic, B for Tailwind, which I believe should expire after this turn, if my memory serves correct. So if all goes well, Tailwind will expire, and I will have a Mega Metagross next turn to do Mega Metagross things. Try to say that 5 times fast, it won't work. Anyways, it looks like Suicune is going for the Scald into Entei. Cresselia does go for the Scald into Metagross, and Metagross dodges it because he's a Steel type, and that totally mattered. Okay. Anyways, after that Scald, or after that Toxic damage, it's worth noting that Suicune is in the range of another Stone Edge crit taking it out. That being said, I don't really want to count on a crit, but I do want to try and kill it before it can Tailwind again. So I'm going to go ahead and double into the Suicune. If he switches, great. If he doesn't switch, which looks like the case, I should hopefully be able to take it down at least after the Toxic damage this turn. So Stone Edge will connect. It will do just barely enough to kill it, but thankfully with Iron Head, that should bring it down. So he is unable to get Tailwind up again, which is great for me. Not really sure what that Cresselia is going to do here. It looks like it's going for the Toxic onto the Entei, which is a decent choice. I mean, Entei does have leftovers, and Toxic will essentially negate that damage, or that health, not damage. Starting now, actually. So it gives him a little bit of momentum back, but not much. Toxic is slowly counting up turns on that Cresselia. And unless he switches out this turn, I think it's going to be dead in maybe like 3 turns. Anyways, Kangaskhan comes back in, rocking that burn. Let me see, what do I want to do here? I'm not really afraid of Kangaskhan, but at the same time, I don't really want... Actually, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for Iron Head, and then I'm actually going to switch Entei out for Landorus. To ensure that even if Sucker Punch... Actually, no, a crit would negate the Intimidate damage anyways. So just trying to ensure that if he does decide to Sucker Punch my Metagross, it'll do as minimum as possible, barring a crit. Looks like he does switch out Cresselia, which was his best play there, and sends in Heatran. So I'm in a pretty good position, actually. Even though I don't get to damage Kangaskhan this turn, it's at -1, and I have 2 things that can decently threaten Heatran. We know that it doesn't have Chople Berry thanks to its balloon. So I'm going to go ahead and superpower it, and my Metagross is fast enough to outspeed Heatran and should not die to Kangaskhan's Sucker Punch, barring 2 crits, I believe. So I think that even if worst case happens and Metagross dies this turn, I should be able to get it down to Cresselia, almost at Heatran versus Milotic Entei, and almost at Landorus. So I think that'll be enough to give me the win, but we'll see. Obviously this is Pokemon, RNG can happen pretty much whenever it feels like happening, so... but in this case, he forfeits. So that was a great game, person from Japan. I am surprised you forfeited so early, but hey, I mean, it saves me time, I guess. So yeah, this is about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna call this the battle of the day. Again, if you missed it in my last video, I am going to be streaming on Twitch now on Fridays and Sundays, except for this Friday, and whenever else I have weird schedule things. So I should have a link to my Twitch down in the description for this video, so please check it out. You can actually view some past broadcasts on there if you feel like it. In my broadcasts, I tend to be more goofing around with my viewers than paying attention to my battles. So, you know, it's a little bit different feeling, but I think it's a lot of fun. You can also listen to great Steven Universe and Phoenix Wright music. So, hey, those are cool. What else? What else? Please, if you like this video, please tell your friends. You know, follow me on Twitter, like it, do all the things you normally do with things that you really like. And yeah, that's it for today. So my name's Gabby. This was your battle of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Wait, where's the... Bye!